What's going on, everyone? Today I'm back for another video, and as you can see in front of me here, I just purchased the Oculus Quest 2. You may have seen my recent sim rig tour where I'm still using the CV1, which has done well, but I've been thinking about upgrading recently, so I thought I'll try this out. I've read a lot about the Link functionality, and it seems to be working pretty well nowadays. Also, updates coming out to improve it even further with 90 FPS and whatnot for the Quest 2. So I thought I would try this out and see how it goes. And today I'm just going to do a quick video unboxing and my first impressions. I'll just jump in, try it out real quick. This is sim racing related, so expect that'll be pretty much all I'm trying it out on in this video. So I'll just do the unboxing because I thought why not? Knowing what's actually in here is probably not much of an unboxing, to tell you the truth, because there's not a whole lot in here. But I'll quickly open up and take a look. So I will mention I did purchase this myself from Best Buy. Today it's release day, October 13th. They had a bunch in stock still, so thought I'd go with it. This one is the 64 gig version because again, I'm getting this mostly for sim racing and using the Link. So I'm not planning on having a whole lot actually installed on the Quest itself. And from what I've read, 64 gigs can hold quite a bit as well. Yeah, well, as far as boxes go, pretty solid box here, solidly packed. And inside of it, I'll tip it over so hopefully not everything falls out. But basically, you can see we've got the Quest itself, 2 touch controllers in this little box, which I am assuming is the charging cable. So here's the touch controllers. Again, I'm coming from a CV1. It's the only one I've used. I've read there's some changes here. Maybe it's more changes compared to the Quest one, but to me this feels a lot like the CV1's touch controllers. Almost identical, to tell you the truth. Let's put those off to the side there. Now let's quickly see what's in this box. Yeah, and as expected, just the charging cable and the brick. Nothing much else there. And then some documentation, as you would expect. That's all that's in here, right? Yep. Now for the Quest itself. So, first impression straight out of the box, compared to the CV1, definitely smaller. They have got rid of the fabric on the outside. It's not just a plastic. I'd read some reviews and stuff that mentioned it feeling cheap and plasticky now, which I don't. Not like, yeah, it's plastic, but it's pretty solid. It doesn't feel cheap and toy-like at all. This part I'm not sure about, the head strap. It's just the elastic head strap here. Take that off. So it's a soft elastic head strap. Obviously, I'll have to use it prior to making any judgments, but the CV1 did have the more rigid rubberized head strap, which I found comfortable, but we'll try this one out. There is an Elite headshot they sell for this that's a lot like the Oculus CV1. So see there on the bottom we got what I believe is volume control there. And actually this is just protective covering, so let's take this off. So as compared to the pictures, this is more of a very light gray than a white. I thought this was all white. But you can see, like, I'm not sure if this shows up on camera. It does a little bit, but you can see it is more of a grayer color than the white of the box. Which, whatever, is fine. So yeah, right out of the box, I mean, it'd have to hold my CV1. It's definitely lighter, like they say. Definitely smaller. And it definitely doesn't feel cheap by any means. This is, I guess the fabric covering gave it the old ones a bit more of a premium feel, but I don't know. This feels fine to me. It does have the foam, so I'll have to see how I like this. It does have the foam facial interface, so I did upgrade my CV1 to more of the leather style facial interface, which I'm very much used to at this point. So I'll have to see if I can adjust to this. I'm sure all those companies are going to be coming out with replacements for that. I find the leather just feels a bit better, especially once you start getting hot. It doesn't soak up sweat and stuff. A lot easier just wipe down, especially if you're playing with others, which right now with, you know, pandemic and all, I'm sure not a lot of people are having people over and swapping VR headsets around. And then it also comes with this. So this is a glasses spacer. So I'm not going to do it now, but based on the instructions here, essentially take off the interface, facial interface, you pop this in, and then the facial interface over top, and I guess it gives you just that extra bit of space if you wear glasses. That's definitely, I can't speak to the Rift S or the Quest or anything, but the CV1 definitely didn't come with that. I don't personally need this, and I've got no way to really test it and see if it's any good. But if you are a glasses wearer, it does come with that. And that's it. That's everything that's in the box. I also did pick up the Link cable, obviously. Going to be mainly using this for iRacing, Assetto Corsa, and whatnot. So this is, well, it's not a must. Did a lot of reading on it. There is a actual wireless solution. And there's plenty of cheaper cables on Amazon, but I elected to go with the official Oculus Link cable just because it's, again, I didn't own the Quest, so if there's issues while I'm trying this out, racing and stuff, latency or anything else, I want to be sure it's not the cable itself. If I bought a cheap one, you never know, right? Like, you'll never know, is it Link itself that's the problem? Is it the cable that's the problem? The Wi-Fi, using virtual desktop to do it wirelessly? Again, I mean, I would suspect that would be slower, so that's a way I'll definitely test out in the future, but not how I wanted to do it right away. But I'll just quickly open up this box while we're at it. Similar style box, and this is just going to be a cable. This also comes with a whole bunch of documentation. I'll take a look at that after I'm done filming here. And the cable itself, I mean, not much to say. It's a USB cable essentially. Although this packaging it comes in doesn't release very easily. Do this carefully to make sure I don't nick the wire at all, because that would not be how I wanted to start trying this out, that's for sure. Alright, so here we got the link cable. This is 5 meters, I want to say. I think that's correct. Does come with this Velcro strap, so when you unplug it in there, you strap it to the side, keeps it out of the way. For link, you'll see this is 2 USB-C ends on it. So if you are buying this cable, make sure your computer is compatible, whether it's through the video card or the motherboard back I/O connections. Make sure you've got that USB-C connection. If not, there are other options out there, just not the official one. But this is a pricey cable, so before you go ahead and spend that money, make sure you're checking your PC so that you've got the proper connections. And again, this is pricey. It's a high premium, and I went back and forth before I bought this, what I wanted to do, but again, I want to try this for sim racing, see how it is, and I just wanted to take the cable out of the equation if it's not working properly and whatnot. Other reason I did go with this is apparently this will charge your Quest while you're playing PC VR, whereas some of the cheaper ones don't, so then you're still at the limit of the battery. Last thing you want is to be in the middle of a race somewhere and have the battery run out. But that's it for unboxing. Simple, not a whole lot in here, so I'm going to go ahead, get this all set up on the PC, and I'll be back once I'm running and give you my first impressions on how it's working out. I'll see you then. Alright, back now. I've got everything set up and seemingly working okay. I did run a couple test laps and a few laps here in this practice session, just to be sure it was working. And it seems to be working fine. One thing to make note of here at the start, if you already own a Quest 1, you should keep this in mind, at least for the time being, is while the Quest 2 does have the higher refresh rate and the higher resolution, when using it in Quest or Link, at least right now, as of day one, you are essentially running it at the same settings as the Quest 1. Oculus has said there will be an update soon after release. Exactly when, I don't know. But there will be an update updating Link to be able to use the 90 frames per second of the Quest 2 along with the higher resolution. But as of right now, what I'm playing with is basically just the same thing as if you were using a first generation Quest. So just keep that in mind if you're someone that already has that. It might just be better to hold off for the time being to see how the new improvements come. At least from the sim racing standpoint, because it's all about using Link for that. If you're wanting the upgrades for just the other uses, the other games and whatnot of the Quest, it sure seems great. I went up through the setup process, tried a couple little apps out, and it is super clear and runs super smooth that way. But on to my first impressions here now. I am driving the BMW at Laguna Seca here in Iracing. Just in a practice session, I ran a private test session just to make sure things were working. I did want to try to get into a practice session just with some other cars out on track, just to see if it all holds up. So off the bat, I can tell you right now, the audio, it's functional, but definitely a big downgrade from the CV1's built-in headphones. I use those all the time when playing in VR. There was no reason to ever get my headset set up for that, because they sounded great. And I'm no audiophile by any means, but the audio through this definitely is nowhere near to that standard. I will 100% be using my headphones, typically speaking, moving forward with this. Right now I'm not, because, well, I'm just trying it out, and the second you hear the engines rev up, you can notice that difference. But very easy enough to just hook up your headphones. That's the one nice thing about this strap, is you could very easily just wear your headphones as normally, as compared to some issues you might have with the Rift S with their big halo strap. But so that's right off the bat. But in terms of the visual fidelity, for me personally, coming from a CV1, that's all I've ever used. Even here with Link running the Oculus One resolutions, the clarity is still miles better than the CV1. So for me personally, even if they never sent out updates, this is still a sizable upgrade. Now, if you already own a Quest 1 or a Rift S, you know, that's debatable. But if you're coming from a CV1 like I am, this is superb, and assuming Oculus follows through with what they've said, which there's no reason to believe they won't, it's just going to get even better still. But this is a huge upgrade over the CV1 in terms of clarity, and I'll do a more in-depth review video trying to compare it more directly. But right off the bat, like, I can see and make out the dashboard with no issues. And just stuff I absolutely couldn't see with the CV1. So I am pleased with that, and quite frankly, with the promise of even more resolution coming as they update Link, that's even better. One more downside I will point out is this headband. It is, again, it's functional. Like, I mean, it does the job, and it holds it good and tight. It's just not the most comfortable. It's not excessively uncomfortable. I mean, I could still go for a good bit wearing this without getting real uncomfortable, but it's definitely more uncomfortable than the CV1 was. So I will be looking to upgrade to the Elite strap when I get the chance. Though I think I'm going to wait till I can get my hands on the one with the extra battery power in it. Just to get some extra runtime. Though while plugged in with the Link cable, it does charge, so that's not a big deal. But I do want to use this outside of sim racing sometimes. Otherwise, I guess should just go back to getting it set up. All really straightforward. Went through just the regular Quest setup, which you got to do at the start before you've linked it to the computer or anything. And it was just simple, straightforward, follow the instructions. As has been widely publicized, and everyone will have their own opinions on Facebook and everything else, and that's up for you to decide. But you do have to link your account to your Facebook account with this. That is not a choice, so that is up to your personal opinion on that. But otherwise, the setup was straightforward. Getting it to work on the PC, not an issue at all. Again, that's why I did spend the money to get.
We'll need to come into the pits to serve the penalty.
Whoops. But that is why I spent the money to get the official Link cable. Not that other cables don't work, but I was on Amazon looking at various different ones, and while lots of people would say they worked, there was always a fair share of people saying they had problems, and I just wanted to rule any of that out. But basically, I just took the Link cable, hooked it up to the PC, hooked it up to the Quest, and had no issues. Worked right from the get-go. I will say, well, that was simple. One thing I've noticed, and I haven't got to mess around with the settings much at all yet, so I don't know if there's anything you can do about it, but every time you restart it or unplug it and then put it back in, you do have to go through the process of acknowledging a couple things, giving permissions and whatnot, for it to actually fire up the the PC Oculus dashboard on your Quest. And it's not a huge deal, but it is, it'd be nice if they work it out in a way where you just plug it in and it works, and you don't have to go through that every time, or maybe do it the first time. I'm not sure. But again, Link is still in beta currently, though it is to be coming out soon. But yeah, it was nice. It just worked. I will be testing out in the future at some point the wireless options with the virtual desktop. But overall, well, before getting on to the Link performance, I will mention the one other thing that's talked about a lot is the change to the LED screens on this, or screen. It's a single screen that's just split between your two eyes, compared to the OLEDs of the previous Quest and the CV1 I'm coming from. To me, it's noticeable if you're really looking. Yes, things are, especially blacks, are a little grayer. But to tell you the truth, sitting here racing right now, paying attention to driving and stuff, it's really nothing. And I imagine in other games as well, just not something that's noticeable. Like, you really gotta be sitting at a black screen and paying attention to really notice that the blacks aren't, you know, the inky blacks that you get with OLEDs. So to me, that's not an issue. The other thing, like I said, it is running at the Quest 1 frame rate, so you can see up there, well, Iracing showing it as 71 FPS, though when I had the debug tool open, it is running at a solid 72. I suppose that's going to be of personal preference. Everyone kind of has different tolerances for this. To me, I really can't tell. Even at 72, it seems very smooth to me. I've got no issues with that at all. And again, there should be an update coming out that will allow the 90 frames per second that the headset's capable of. Otherwise, in terms of Link performance, like I said, I plugged it in, it worked. And I know from what I've read, it's basically video essentially being fed to the screen rather than
Sector 1 is 1.3 off the pace.
direct frames being sent by the computer, but I can't tell. I'll have to dig in deeper. I'll probably do some comparisons driving in the CV1 and this and see if there's any change in lap times or anything else, but to me, like, I turn the wheel, the pedals, like,
Sector 2 is 1.3
if there is a
seconds
lag,
off the pace.
I'm just not noticing it. I mean, this practice session's not a lot of people or anything, but I'm putting up competitive times still in it, so to me, I am pleasantly surprised. Well, not surprised, that's the wrong word. Because a lot of people have said it works well. I've held off getting the Quest because I just wasn't sure how it would work out for sim racing. But again, first impressions here, that's just after a few laps. In terms of the responsiveness, driving it, like, it feels the same as my direct PC VR CV1. Like the gear shifts, like really not seeing any,
Now delete this lap.
just no apparent lag. I'm gonna pull over and let these guys go by because I'm obviously not driving overly quick here. But yeah, I'll have to do a bunch of races and everything else with it before I'm gonna give any real strong opinion. But off the bat here, I do not foresee this being an issue. I do plan on selling my CV1, but I was gonna hold on to it just for a while to make sure, you know, this actually works out, because my main thing is sim racing. If this isn't going to work out for sim racing, no reason to hold on to it and get rid of the CV1. But here, after a few laps, I do not see any issues. It really does feel just as good as my CV1 in terms of responsiveness and just driving. So that I'm pleased with. Not much else to really talk about here until I dig further into things. Though one other thing I've noticed, which I never noticed with the CV1. This one, while it does have a certain degree of the IPD adjustment, and it seems the middle one works fine for me. And I don't know if this issue has anything to do with the IPD or if it's just the different lenses. Well, I did get this dialed in, and everything that's out here, like right in front of my view, anything I'm looking right at, is super clear. I do find like times like with the CV1 and now this one where I'm not necessarily moving my head, I'm just kind of rolling my eyes down to look down at the relative, or, you know, over to my lap times or whatever, or see the messages up top when people are connecting or disconnecting, or you're getting off track or something. I would just kind of move my eyes around to take a glance. This one, I do notice outside of the cone of vision in front of me, if I do look upwards or to the sides, things do get noticeably blurry. I don't know if that's the IPD. I don't necessarily suspect it is. I think it might just be the different lenses than what they had in the Quest, or sorry, not the Quest, the CV1. But also definitely not a game breaker at all, because if there's something I need to be looking at, I look at it. So like if I glance at the mirrors, they're perfectly clear when I look over there. If I'm just trying to look at it, like look at them out of the corner of my eye, not as clear. And when I say blurry, it's not unrecognizable. I can still, like, for instance, my time bar here up top, I can roll my eyes up to look up there, and I can still clearly make out what it says. It's just definitely blurrier than if I'm sitting here looking at the steering wheel, where it's just crystal clear. So it's one thing I've noticed, but again, that's far, far, far from a game breaker or anything. But yeah, so far, probably run, I don't know, 10 to 15 laps somewhere, and so far I'm impressed with it. Definitely seems to be a sizable upgrade over my CV1. Once they update the Link to fully take advantage of the hardware of this, it's only going to be better. And one thing I will say, so I have not changed any of my settings graphically, all set to the same settings I used with the CV1, which was borderline on my system with the 2070. Most of the time I got 90, a solid 90 with it, but if there were a lot of, like in an IMSA race or something with 40 cars, till they spread out, it would definitely go into ASW. This has not budged at all from the 72 frames per second, which, yes, that's 18 frames less than the Oculus or the CV1, but it is doing it at a higher resolution. So I wasn't sure how that would work out. Seems, at least without changing any settings, it more than handles it. So I'll mess with settings and see how much I can push out of it, and then of course once they do update it and you're looking to get that solid 90, you're probably gonna have to go back and start changing some settings again. But again, the 72, I really don't notice much of a difference from playing at 90 in my CV1. But again, that's me. A lot of people have different tolerances when it comes to frames per second and everything else. I'll just take this off for now. But yeah, people have different tolerances and stuff, so that's me. It does not bug me in the slightest. But yeah, overall, after a few laps, I am enjoying it. The strap, not the most comfortable, but the helmet itself, it's not bad. The foam interface, facial interface, is comfortable, but again, I will swap that out once there's other options out there for more of the leather style. I just find that a little better, breathes a little better. I find the foam, I personally warm up more. Not to mention, if you're doing something you're starting to sweat at all, it just soaks into the foam, and no one likes that. So, but I will be going forward. I'll be trying this out. So far, I've only tried it out in Iracing. I will try Race Room and ACC, maybe some others, and see how it performs there. I'll try to do some direct comparisons with my CV1. I don't think there's a good way to really capture footage to show the difference, because ultimately whatever I'm capturing is coming off of my computer monitor, and it's not really what I see in the headset itself. I will say it is definitely lighter. Well, no, you know what? Over to CV1. I'm not sure about the original Quest. Over to CV1, probably. Yeah, I wouldn't go and say it's definitely lighter. At first I did, but now holding them both together, I wouldn't say so. I've got no idea what they listed, how they compare on paper. They might be very close or the same. But it's comfortable wearing it. Like I said, the strap, I will get the Elite strap. This one, I don't know. I still have more time to try to adjust it, maybe get it more comfortable. I feel like, especially the side, pulls pretty tight, and as I loosen it more, just the whole headset would start wiggling a bit more. So I pulled it a little tighter again. But again, for me, it's not excessively uncomfortable. I could easily use this for 2-3 hours. I would be willing to bet I could use it for 2 to 3 hours without much issue. I haven't done that yet, so who knows, but the main disappointment I have off the bat, and it's to me it was noticeable right away over the CV1, is the audio. Which in the end is not a huge deal. I have a headset. I can easily just throw it over top, no problem. But it's definitely a downgrade. Not to say it's useless. Like, if you don't have another option, I mean, it gets the job done. You can hear what's going on. It just doesn't sound nearly as good, that's all. But yeah, so overall first impressions, very positive. At least coming from the CV1, like I said, if you're coming from a Rift S or a Quest 1, you might want to hold off. Just wait till those updates come out. Because quite frankly, you're not, in terms of sim racing, you're not going to gain almost anything with this until they update the Link. So yeah, it's probably better to hold off there unless you just really want to get the benefits in other games and whatnot. But if it's strictly a sim racing thing, probably just hold off, see when these updates come out, and check out reviews and see if they actually pan out pretty well. If not, it might just be worth going with your Quest 1. But over the CV1, even with the reduced settings, definitely an upgrade that I'm happy with so far. So I'll leave it at that for now. I am going to do a lot more racing and a lot more testing. I'll run some more in my CV1, go back and forth to really compare. And you can plan probably in the next week or so, I'll get a more in-depth video out discussing it. But first impressions, pretty pleased with it so far. So until that next video, if you could like and subscribe, that would be great, as usual. And check me out on Twitch, Everyday Average Sim Racer. I don't have a regular schedule on there, but every now and then I jump on and just live stream for the fun of it when I'm racing, and why not? So anyways, guys, till the next video, I hope you all have a good one. Take it easy.